Developing right now for the second time in 24 hours, a child has been shot in a drive-by shooting. Deputies say last night a 12-year-old boy was hit by a bullet when someone opened fire at a home on Newland Drive. This is near Apopka Vineland Road. That child is now at Arnold Palmer Hospital. Investigators say they do not have any leads right now on that shooter. And a 9-year-old girl was shot during a drive-by shooting in Orlando yesterday morning. She is in stable condition right now. That shooting happened on 22nd Street in Orlando. Deputies say the child's 5-year-old brother was inside of that home as well. The children were staying with family friends while their mother is out of town. And then a third drive-by shooting. This one happened yesterday near a park in Paramore. Adults and children ducking for cover when gunfire came from an SUV. Bullets did hit a woman's house. None of the innocent bystanders were hurt. One person was injured, however, in this shooting. Orlando police, not the sheriff's office, are actually working that case. And right now we want to bring in Orange County Sheriff Jerry Demings and Darrell Butler. He is with Greater Orlando Cares to talk more about what is happening in our community. Gentlemen, thank you both so much for being here this morning.
Good morning.
Sheriff, so frightening when we hear this. And, you know, I think, unfortunately, we have gotten to the point in this community where we have to say this has to stop.
Well, it must stop, and the only way that we can stop it is if we as a community do come together. In terms of how we're doing, last year at this same relative time, we had about 1,200 different incidents that we responded to that involved firearms in unincorporated Orange County. So far this year, we're at about 1,300, which is about an 11% increase. When we look at the numbers, we do see a significant increase in those who are children. Out of 400 plus arrests that we've made this year, about 54 of them are children, and that is very disturbing. We've had children who have been also killed this year by gunfire.
When you look at these cases from yesterday, do you see any connection there, or are we looking at a pattern, or do you feel like these are all separate incidents?
These are all separate incidents. There's nothing that we see at this point that connects them, but it's a phenomenon that we're seeing all across America in terms of gun violence. According to the White House, over 100,000 Americans have died as a result of gunfire within the last decade.
Darrell, let's talk about what you folks are doing with your organization to try to curb this problem.
So if you think about putting a protective cover over our next generation to secure that generation, that protective cover, from my perspective, consists of what I call 3 S's. What you started off with the conversation: stop, strengthen, and sustain. Stopping simply means whatever you're doing now that's not working, you have to stop. So if you are keeping protection of the bad people, then you got to stop that, hold the community accountable, and call into the sheriff's office, call into Orlando Police, and drop some names to say, okay, this is what's going on. I know who did this. You got to stop whatever is getting us into the current level of insanity. Strengthen. That is where we get into the mentoring. This is what we focus on: strengthening our community, strengthening our young people to make better decisions through a shifted mindset. And you know about that. You're involved. You've been involved with Big Brother, Big Sister for years and all of that. And then sustainability. And that's that right now is one of the big challenges. Sustaining our community activities, sustaining our community organizations. That is a major challenge in and of itself.
We had, just 2 weeks ago, we had 2 murders in Paramore. Both of those cases still unsolved as well. In one of those cases, it was a gentleman who came back from Florida State with his goal is to try to help the people in this community. How frustrating, how angry does that make you?
Yeah, especially for the work that we're doing. I mean, Gino Nicholas, he's doing the work. He came back from, leading My Brother's Keeper mentoring program. And that's what we do. We send people to organizations like that. And then to find out that one of the leaders gets shot in one of these drive-by shootings. This is not Hollywood. This is real life. And people are running around shooting up places like Hollywood and all that. It's got to stop. We've got to strengthen, and we've got to sustain change.
I know one of your bigger frustrations, Sheriff, is that sometimes when these incidents happen, people do want to not cooperate. They saw something, but they won't say something. What is your message to the people in the community who know something but refuse to come forward?
Well, in many cases, people have information about the crimes that have occurred, and they're reluctant to come forward out of fear or what have you. And what we do say to all of them is that we're only going to be as good as the information information that we receive in solving these crimes. And so we want people to come forward. We also want to stop crime from occurring in the first place. After all, these are human beings that are pulling the triggers, and somehow we as a society have got to raise our children and others in a way that when they're confronted with the option to do the right thing, that they will do the right thing and not get involved in violent crime.
We certainly appreciate your efforts, Sheriff, and we wish you the best of luck in solving these cases. Darrell, thank you so much. Do you want to get your website out there for our viewers?
Yes, that'd be great. OrlandoCaresMentoring.org.
All right, please
and
help.
On Facebook at Great Orlando Cares.
Help if you can. They do great work. Thank you, gentlemen, both of you. We really appreciate it.